All right. One more video. It's getting late. Um, was part of a full gospel church for a long time, inundated with televangelists, wondering, just like you're wondering, where's the truth? We are so inundated with finding the truth, who's telling the truth, who can we gravitate to, what politician, what man could we find? But this guy's talking, that guy's talking. We got so many people talking. And what am I doing? Talking. But the one difference is God set me free from a cycle of trying to seek someone to tell me the truth. And I'm older now and a little grayer, a lot grayer. And just like Pharaoh turning to Moses and saying, "Excuse me, God's talking to me." Traditionally, what Pharaoh did in his life was what had been done for over 400 years. Traditionally, you got to be king, you enslaved the Jewish people, and that's the way it was done. And the same thing with politicians and preachers today. That's the way it was done. You hand the baton to the next guy, and then he passes the baton to the next guy. So when God spoke to Pharaoh, there wasn't any way that Pharaoh could go. What do I got to do here? This has been the traditional way of a king as far as I can remember. I was brought up with my uncle, my grandpa, my great-grandfather. Pharaoh's lineage traditionally was he built a great empire or built upon a great empire and made it even greater, what looked to be greater. So when God spoke to him and said, "Let my people go," Pharaoh turned around and said, "Hey, wait a minute, man. We've been doing this traditionally for so many years. This is the way it's done here in Egypt, in my house. I was raised this way." And in the full gospel church, the non-denominational church, I was in a big denominational church. Then the televangelist movement of the early 90s exploded on the scene. Oh my God, people were dancing, singing, using technology as it never been used before to enrich them and make them more powerful. But what in essence it was doing was it making slaves of, instead of one congregation, multitudes of people. So I started to get discouraged at the end of all this. And I thought to myself, this can't be right. This dude's behind the pulpit screaming and yelling, hollering, cheering, dancing, singing. I'm giving him what he wants. I'm doing what he says. I'm no different than I was at the denominational church I came from. That old crusty looking denomination. This, man, people are laughing, joking, kidding. Same dry, dead stuff. Just blabbing away, regurgitating vomited scripture. And at the end of 20 plus years, I didn't have any place to go. I thought, man, if what I saw and what I seek is not the real thing, where else am I going to go? What else am I going to do? And I didn't have any place to turn because I knew the denomination I came from was fraud. The non-denominational, with all these televangelists and all these hyped up stuff, all this laughing, singing, and dancing, dude was lying behind the pulpit, just like where I came from. They were lying. And eventually, God delivered me into a loving relationship with him. You don't need a man to do that. And if my welfare was contingent on the people that are coming to me, you're right. I'm going to give them a wonderful, glorious message of promises of power and wealth, because that's what's in my heart. And that's the essence of what these preachers are. They're not only enslaving the people, but they are slaves to the people. And if they want the old buchach, they got to come up with this. And they recycle the same gibberish. It's Easter. It's Christmas. It's this holiday. It's this feast. I heard one fraud con man say, God is commanding you. And I'm sitting there watching him today. God's commanding you to give. And I turned around and I said, nobody's tapping me on the shoulder. What do you mean God's commanding me to give? I don't hear God's voice. And that's the essence of our faith, Christian faith. We serve the only faith that who came, walked this planet like any other prophet has brought us to him, the Father. No other prophet can say that. No other religion can say that. Turn and go to him. You don't need a man for that. And if I needed for you to give me something for the message that I'm sharing with you, it wouldn't be to point to him, because what about me? Who's going to pay my bills, man? When Pharaoh's kingdom depended on the Jewish people, wasn't he enslaved as well? And the thing that blew my mind was I can go straight to God. Each and every decision that I can make, I should be seeking God. Why am I seeking a man? Why are you seeking a man? You got the problem. The drugs won't do it. Religion won't do it. Politics won't do it. Money, greed, drugs, covet your neighbor's wife, the home, dishonoring your parents. The commandments were just an outline. But what God has revealed to you individually, he expects you to obey. That little voice, the person that walked past you, that you can't get what he said out of your mind, the warning. I don't know if I have time to tell the story, but I'll tell it again and again and again because it's a great story. Both my parents died of not listening to God. Number one, lung cancer with cigarettes. So I decided I won't smoke cigarettes, I'll smoke cigars. I thought I could control it. And one after another, I started to smoke more and more. And one became 4, and 4 became 6, and 12. And I was up to about maybe 12 cigars, maybe 10 to 12 a week. Well, I went golfing with my brother-in-law, and he put a little dot on these expensive balls. And I kind of recycled mine. And I spotted this very expensive ball in the bag that had a blue dot on it. Not because if he lost it in a patch somewhere, he could find it, but his brother-in-law snagged it, me. He could tell. So I put it on the tee, and as I'm whacking it, I said, "Hey, Mark, there goes your ball. Appreciate it." And it went whoop, into the woods. Well, we went down the fairway, back again, 25 minutes later, and we're on the tee, hitting in another like 9. Now we're on 11. So we're going the same direction. Well, I hit one of my crusty looking balls, and it was a back 9. So I lit my cigar up, and we're in a golf cart. I held it outside the golf cart, and my brother-in-law took off. And how was he going to get upset at me? Right? The golf ball was lost 20 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, long out of his mind. And I guess he gets balls, for he suspects loss, brother-in-law, what are you going to do? So as we're cruising the golf course, going about 18 miles an hour, whatever full bore on the golf course is, this ball comes out of the sky. As we're moving, I'm having the cigar between my fingers outside because I don't want the smoke to hit him in the face. And the ball comes down, doesn't hit my hand, my fingers, my arm, my thumb. Doesn't hit me in the head. It hits me hits the golf ball, hits the cigar, knocks it out of my hand, and it's winging so hard, but like straight down. Not in a trajectory where it's like shot out of a cannon, but almost in a trajectory where it's coming straight down, where when it hit my cigar, it landed next to my cigar. Now, if it was whacked by a golfer, it comes in a trajectory as 40 degrees or something. It's when you hit a golf ball, it goes, but this one landed right near my cigar, and I marked back it up. By the time he could stop, because we're going full bore on the golf cart, by the time he stopped, we're 15, 20 feet down the path. He backed up, and the cigar was next to the ball that I lost 20, 30 minutes ago with the little blue dot on it. It's not the end of the story. There was a man my age who smoked cigars as well. He died. Lung cancer, stage 4. I didn't pick that cigar up, but to bust it up and throw it away. And I had the cases, and I had the lighters, and I had the snippers, and I had the box, the humidors, and had a bunch of cigars home. The man died, man. I would think that if God revealed that to me, he must have revealed that to him. The difference is the confirmation of God's warning was in me putting that cigar down. There are many instances in your life, as strange as that if you heed God's warning that he's giving to you individually, you won't have a cigar incident. These dudes behind the pulpit try to make it like they got the answer for everyone. Are you serious? It's not an answer for everyone. They don't have the answer for everyone. God Almighty has the answer. Individually, as you live your life, the problems are particular to you as the fingerprint or your DNA. They don't know your life. They don't know what is going on in your life. They don't have the power to know what's going on in your life. And especially, they don't know what it takes to deliver you from that death and destruction. True story. It really happened. I wouldn't make it up, but it's a great and glorious story. Not of the power of me, because it was the weakness of me, but the power and mercy of God. And he's doing that in your life, in instances that you can recall, with things that are leading you to destruction, but you're not listening. The man behind the pulpit doesn't have the answer for you. God will not share the glory with anyone. The most particular passages in the Bible is he's a jealous God. Like any father, he wants the glory. And I help my kid out with fixing stuff at his house, and I want the glory. I don't want him saying somebody else fixed that, or when I fixed it, hey, I want what I do for him. I want the glory. And when he works, and I taught him how to be the carpenter, the handy person that he is around, gives me the credit. God's not going to share that deliverance in your life with any other person. Just like that golf ball story. You may think, wow, what do you got? I got nothing. I'm the idiot that after losing 2 parents through lung cancer, started smoking. What a doof. God must have been in heaven going, hey, Abe, come on over here. Look at this stunad, smoking cigars. Both his parents were taken from him. Like, there was nothing really wrong with my father, nothing really wrong with my mother, and they died of lung cancer. Hey, Abe, come on over here. Hey, Zeke, come on. You can't believe this. Yo, Mary, come on over here. What's going on over here? But God, in his mercy and his grace, it's not by my power, it's not by my might, but every testimony I have is for the grace, mercy, and glory of God. Didn't come out of a pulpit, didn't come out of this holy dude regurgitating scriptures memorized to try to prove that he's a man of God. God doesn't need scriptures. He's got his word, living, alive word. And then signs and wonders following, not these get up and walk crippled kind of things. Prosperity, I got money floating in heaven coming down to bless these people. But the instances of oppression, depression, that if you trust in God, you trust in God and the things that he's revealed to you in your life particularly, he'll save, deliver, set you free. God bless you today. Have a good one.